Hello everyone, Vito's back again with another deck review. This is the Canadiana, made by one of my friends, Phil DeCosta. You can check out his site at DeCostaMagic.com. Fairly limited decks. These were on CardLauncher.com a couple months ago. It is the only project that was successful on that website before they decided to kind of put it on the shelf. Nothing else is successful. It's a Canadian themed deck. It was originally on Kickstarter about a year ago, just before last Christmas, I believe, but it didn't do well, unfortunately. Probably a lower customer base for a deck like this, but I'm definitely into it because I'm Canadian, obviously. And I did a review on the prototype that he sent me, which I appreciate. Let's look at this. We got standard decks and a limited edition deck. The standard one, front of the box, you get the back design right there. On the side it says Canadiana, or Canadiana, with a maple leaf, Canadiana. Again, nothing on top. Bottom it says designed by Philip DeCosta, DeCostaMagic.com, with his logo. And the back is the same as the front, except there is a fun thing here with a maple leaf on the flap. Then we get to the cards. Inside you do get a card that has the maple leaf, that kind of the flag on there, and it says "O Canada," and it is our national anthem, and it's also in French on the other side. And I'm not going to sing it to you, but I'll read it to you. It says, "O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee." Just thought I would do that for fun. You also get a double backer. These are printed, to my understanding, by MakePlayingCards.com, and a pretty good stock, I think. Bicycle type stock, and it's got a embossed linen type finish. You get some maple leaves in the four corners, and also top and bottom, a couple in the center, and just a whole bunch of maple leaves throughout, basically all sorts of different sizes, big ones, small ones, tiny ones, large ones, just all over the place. But it's still nice. It took some effort to do that. The ace of spades is a big old maple leaf in a brownish color, and it says Canadiana on this nice red ribbon. And it says A. Indian says instead of having an actual A, he put A, because Canadians are always going A. So, A, why not? And that's your ace of spades. The other aces have the same A thing going, with a slightly larger pip than normal aces would have. Court cards, fairly standard, but he did make some nice custom touches. And I'll point out a few things as they go through. So here's the King of Clubs playing one of the Canadian sports, which is lacrosse, which involves using that little net thing to pass balls around and to shoot into a net. Hockey, of course, and looks like he's committing suicide with the hockey stick. As you can see, there is some customizations to the fairly standard court cards that make them different and different colors. Basketball, which is invented in Canada or by a Canadian. This guy's holding a bunch of cards. Maybe it's that dead man's hand, I don't know. Curling, another Canadian sport. And this guy's holding the ace of spades. So there's a reveal for you, which is pretty cool. Number cards, the custom pips for the spades with some maple leaves in a burgundy or brownish color. And as you can see, he laid them all out in a circular pattern. Hearts and diamonds in red. Pretty interesting pattern. I think, in my honest opinion, had he kept them with a standard orientation of the pips, it might have been a little bit more appealing, but it's just a minor thing. Anyways, it's still got all the pips on there. And I guess he might have been going for a maple leaf pattern. I don't know. Pretty good stock and finish though, as I said. They shuffle very, very nicely. Fanning wise, not bad. A little bit of clumpage, but that's expected when it's not USPC or Legends or Expert cards. It does, however, spread pretty nicely. I like that. And actually, I'll try something. Fanning them face up, they actually look pretty good compared to face down, which is a little bit odd. But that's a standard edition deck. I also got, in addition to that, a invisible deck made out of the standard deck, which still comes with the National Anthem card and a double back for the invisible deck. It is what it is. It's a pretty cool trick. I think I'm the only person, the only backer that actually got the invisible deck, which is a little bit disappointing, but hey, that's okay, I don't mind. It's a little bit hard to get these cards inside the case. In fact, if you want a tutorial on the invisible deck, just let me know. I'll pull it out and I'll show you what it's all about. But maybe I won't. It is you can probably find them out there anyways, but it's a pretty good trick that a lot of magicians turn to use because it just works. It's very visual. The selector thinks of a card, spread through the deck. All of a sudden, there's one card that's face up, and it happens to be theirs. But anyways, then we got this. It's a limited edition set, limited edition decks. He made this box himself. He also autographed it, Philip. It's his limited edition deck set. Mine is number 1 out of 40. Eat your heart out. I really appreciate him giving me number 1. I've never gotten number 1 in any deck that I can recall. And you open it up, and it looks kind of like the Canadian flag with the red on the sides and maple leaf in the center, and it says Canadiana. Unfortunately, it is a little bit flimsy, but it is what it is. On the one side it says Canadiana with the maple leaf in there, and then you see the flag on our flag, the Canadian flag on either end. Open it up like a book. You see 2 limited edition decks. Let's all look at this one. First one we'll look at is this one. It's just got a solid maple leaf pattern throughout. It's on the front, it's on the side, it's on the other side, it's also on the top. It's on the bottom, but the bottom also says designed by Philip DaCosta, DaCostaMagic.com, with his logo. And you guessed it, it's also on the back. Actually, yeah, it's the back. And it's on the flaps too. It's just all over the place. Inside these decks, the limited edition decks, there's a couple of minor changes. First of all, there's no double backer. There's no National Anthem song. There is 2 diptych jokers that you put together and it makes the Canadian flag. And you get to see our great country of Canada. The free territories up here, Yukon, Northwest Territories, and Nunavut Territory. Then there's British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, which is very much a square, Manitoba, and I'm down here underneath this little lake, big lake actually, Ontario. Phil is down here near Toronto. And then there's Quebec, there's Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, actually New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Newfoundland right here, this island and this, and Prince Edward Island is in there as well. It's a tiny little island. And there's a maple leaf on the 2 corners. The back design on these ones is casino style full bleed. It's got maple leaves throughout with a white border. It just goes from this to white basically. Just like stingers, the bee stingers from 311. Same thing. One thing I did notice about the back, intentional or not, is it is slightly one-way design because one side is a bit thicker than the other. Again, could be intentional, could be not. Ace of Spades, you get the same thing except one minor difference. It says limited edition on the bottom, whereas the other one didn't say anything. The rest of the cards are the same. From what I can tell, it is possible the stock is a little bit different on this one than the standard one, but I'm not 100% certain. But it does seem a little bit stiffer almost, or thicker. Once again, slight clumpiness though. Ace face down. I'll show you the other deck very quickly, hopefully. This one is probably my favorite out of all of them. It says, it's a nice red box. Solid red, says Canadiana on the front. Nothing on the one side or the other. Nothing on top. The bottom, same as before, the Costa Magic logo. Dakota. And it says it's designed by Philip DaCosta. DaCostaMagic.com. The back, you see the back design, which is a simple back design, almost a simplified version of the main one. No seal, by the way, on any of these decks. Nothing on the flaps, but they are red. Again, you get the two diptych jokers, and this is why I like it. It's a nice, simple, clean back design. You get the same Ace of Spades as well, and the rest of the faces are the same, but it's a nice, clean, simple back design with pretty thin borders. I mean, it's kind of like the Fontaines meets Canada. White maple leaves, a couple of little white details, and voila, you get an awesome deck. Handles pretty good. I think again the stock is a little bit different than the standard deck, but I could be wrong. But I like this one. This one's my favorite out of all three. Followed probably by the standard, but this one by far my favorite because a lot of people like cards like this, so it's very nice. One thing I also wanted to mention that I thought was kind of fitting with the standard deck is that it has no jokers. I forgot to mention that. It just has a double backer and the card with the national anthem on it, and I thought that was perfectly fitting because the jokers were an American invention. So we don't need that in our decks. It's not a Canadian card, so we don't need that in a Canadian deck. So it is what it is. I thought it was pretty fitting. A couple more minor things I'll show you. They also sent this, which I'm about to enjoy. It is a Canadian dollar. And it is actually a chocolate, which I already cracked in half by mistake. But I will enjoy that right away. And there's this. It says classified on it. It's a nice little envelope. Inside you get two cards. First of all, you get one that says Area 52 with the custom magic, and you see 4 different custom pips on the bottom. I hope he doesn't mind me revealing this. I'm guessing he sent it so that it would reveal it. 4 little custom pips on there. And then you see this on the other side, which I'm wondering if that's the back design or if it's an ad card or whatever. But it basically has a bunch of different letters, and I guess the alien interpretation of it, which is pretty interesting. And then the other one, it says the wedding deck coming soon. That one doesn't say anything, but this one says that it's coming soon. DaCostaMagic.com. And the back, you see the back design. It's a couple of linked up wedding rings. Pretty simple, clean back design again. I like it. I look forward to it, and I look forward to finding out more about this. So that is the Canadiana and then some deck review. Pretty cool deck. I like it. I'll see you next time.